KD has 2 drive-through rings, though. He went to McDonald's and picked them junks up. And somehow he has no pressure on him to win it all when he goes play with Devin Booker. He's on a world tour. He's a thought. He's getting passed around like a thought, going from star to star. Kyrie finished with him, and now he going to Devin Booker. This dude's Bernice Burgos. He's the Bernice Burgos of the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They're ripping jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I ain't taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. But she was really
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Ent Podcast. Big threes in the building tonight. Miles, Smooth, Operator Davenport. How you doing?
Doing good.
Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, the Basement Mother Sins Mirror. How you living?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Can't complain.
Basketball is back. All-Star break was done. Before we get into looking at the second half, right? So obviously, I don't know if y'all agree, disagree. All-Star weekend was very mid. Skills challenge was trash. 3-point contest was booty. All-Star game was booty. After All-Star weekend, right? What do you think? Because everybody's talked about how bad it was. Talking on the solution side, what do you think could be done for the All-Star game, All-Star weekend? And part two is like, what do you think we can do? Well, not us, but the league for, the load management and the players forcing trades. Like, what are some solutions? Because we talked on the show how much of a problem it is. What can actually be done for solution-wise?
I think they'd have to incentivize the game and maybe some of the events somehow.
Yeah.
None of the big names are going to do the skills challenge anymore, the dunk contest. Zion said he might do it next year, but what are the odds that he makes it to the All-Star game? So, you got to pay these guys. That's what it's coming down to. They're not going to try for like a pickup game. That's what it's become. It's like a pickup game or practice or whatever you want to call that, because that wasn't basketball for most of it. You got guys taking shots from half court and guys 1-on-4 just running past everybody and getting layups and dunks and just padding stats. And I turned it off after the first 5 minutes. I was like, I got better things to do. I got to help Jace with homework and all that stuff. So why am I wasting my time with this basketball game? So they got to figure this out somehow, because the last few years, the first year they did the draft made it kind of interesting. But I think since then, with the load management and now it's so late in the year, we only got, 25, 26 games left. Guys aren't really trying to go hard this weekend. This is really a time to rest and take a break. I don't know what Adam Silver can do besides adding some more money to the weekend, but we'll see what happens.
Greg, what's your thoughts on the load management side? What can be done? Load management. My opinion on two fronts.
Yeah.
I think we should add a one-on-one game, one-on-one tournament, get rid of the skills challenge. That's been booty for years now. One-on-one. And then for the load management aspect, you got to make the regular season matter. Everybody in the media talks about rings. Right. So I don't blame the players when they decide, I want to be at peak strength, because all y'all talk about is rings that matter to my career. So if I don't get a ring because I played all 82, y'all gonna look at me, oh, he booty. When I sit, oh, you lazy. Some people, I don't knock it, bro, because rings matter so much now. So the regular season has no value anymore.
Right. The NBA doesn't have to change on its face. Like what you've been seeing from the NBA, the typical NBA, the classic, stuff you're used to, the NBA Finals, the All-Star break, the way it's kind of structured, it's all going to change. You hear rumors about it too, like Adam Silver's thinking about rolling out a mid-season tournament or in-season tournament where these guys would be playing for another championship, kind of like, I think soccer leagues do it. From what I understand, they do that too, where they have like another tournament within the season before the playoffs. People aren't too hot on it because it's not what you're used to seeing, but at the same time, like, what else can Adam Silver possibly do to make these guys want to play games? And the way you do it is you kind of embed it within the 82 game schedule. So you lengthen the season, you make it longer. These guys play into July, maybe, right? And all you're going to be up against is some summer baseball, right? And training camp football. You should win that battle on TV ratings. And you have that midseason tournament where you incentivize it with a large lump sum of money and bonuses for these guys who win and can go far in the tournament, and obviously a championship of some kind that you can name, maybe after Kobe Bryant, maybe after somebody. And you do that. I think it's another way to incentivize like the more accolades for these guys to win. You didn't win a championship, but you won that, or you won the Kobe Bryant whatever award for in this tournament. I don't know. It's something along those lines that'll happen, but I think that's how you kind of incentivize guys to play more in the middle of the season. You don't add games, you just lengthen the season, you add that tournament, and you see how it goes. You got to start to experiment because the product is suffering, and with what you're currently doing, it's not working. So I think that something along those lines will happen to kind of affect load management. I don't think you'll ever fully get rid of load management, but if you can limit it as much as possible with incentivizing games and creating more urgency and importance behind the games, then that's what you do. And I think a mid-season tournament probably does that. And people have to get used to it. People will complain, but when they see the level of play, that's all that's going to matter. It's all you're going to care about is how hard guys are playing. And I can get behind that. So I think that's what they'll probably do at some point. I think it's a good idea. And I think you have to think outside the box, and that's a good place to start.
I think the mid-season tournament is going to be good. I think they should lower the amount of games. We talked about it on the show. If there's less games, then there's really no reason for load management. If they do a 66-game season, I think that makes the regular season matter more too because it's less games. And maybe you take the approach of, I know the reason being because the money, but the plan, that makes the season longer. That just makes the season longer. Maybe it's just the first 8 to come in. It's exciting, but it's like, all right, it's teams, the 10 seed. No, like that's just making the season longer. And what's been the main issue that they've been complaining about, and the reason for load management is so many games, and they want to be at peak level for playoffs. That's how I view it. And I think the load management, I think it was Jalen Rose said this. If you want load manage, you got to do it at home games. You can't be doing it at away games. People in an away game, LeBron, for example, not saying him, but LeBron, for example, better example, Kawhi. People coming to see Kawhi. Clippers playing the Nets. You find out 10 minutes before the game, Kawhi not playing. Nah, bro. Do that at home.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Do that at home because of the away teams, these are fans that come to see you. They're not going to see you till next season, essentially. Unless you're a Western Conference team, they're not going to see you. If you do it at home, they got another game to come to.
There's got to be some kind of penalty for guys like Kawhi Leonard and what they do. Because Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant does this too. I know he plays and he loves basketball, and he does. He respects the game, but when that guy's hurt, he doesn't play till he's 100%. Like if there's even a cubicle that has a small scratch on it, he's not playing. And then Kawhi Leonard's the same way. So if you have that kind of situation with those two guys, then you need to be penalizing. Something's that happens. The players will never agree to the methods that the NBA could roll out to reduce load management. And that's why there's going to be another lockout, for one of the many reasons why there'll be another lockout. You can thank Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons and James Harden for your next lockout, because there's going to be one for sure. It's going to be a battle to figure this out, but and mainly Kyrie Irving, might I add, mainly him. But you have to have some kind of penalties for guys who just don't play because something slight is off. All right, like you got a nail in your tire, you go to work. The equivalent is like, Kawhi, he has a hangnail on his toenail and he's not playing. That's what we're talking about. Like it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation. So I think they got to figure it out. But I think whatever the solution is going to be, it is going to lead to a lockout. We're definitely looking at a lockout here. I fully expect it. You have guys like Ben Simmons just choosing not to play. You got, and you know, I know under the guise of mental health, and yeah, I'm not. He probably he had issues. All right, he probably, he has issues. All right, so he probably does. Like he something's wrong with that guy. Let's leave him out of it. But even if you don't, you do. James Harden getting fat mid-season, showing up, rolling into training camp, right? Not trying to play for real. He was at the Jamaican hut in Houston eating turkey legs and shit. You know, and Kyrie, you know, just choosing when and when he doesn't want to play, like whenever he, you know, just showing up whenever he wants, not taking it seriously, right? We've got a lockout on our hands for sure. All right. And I'm team owner on this one. I'm sorry. I love basketball too much to not play I'm a play no matter what. And I'm going to the YMCA. Ain't no stakes in the line. I'm going to the Y. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you alluded to it. Katie says it's good for the league, the forced trades and whatnot. Miles, Gregor, I want to touch on this. What can be done on that aspect of like these forced trades? Like Charles Barkley was like, hey, if I give you money, there's no way we getting a divorce 6 months into this. Like, do they put something in the contract where it's like you gotta do at least the first 2 years of the contract so it helps out the team and the player? If the team is bad, they gotta perform to a certain level so the player stays. The player just wants to be out to play with his friends. He gotta stay. Like, what can be done on that aspect? Because that's one of the biggest issues with the lockout coming up is not even so much the load management, because that's more so something that's pissing off for the fans.
Oh, yeah.
But the owners mainly are pissed off. It was like, I signed you. I think I'm gonna have this player for a 4-year contract. And a year in, you talking about you want out, you're gonna just not play, you're gonna show up out of shape, you're gonna cause absolute hell to make me force to trade you.
If you show up out of shape, they should be able to avoid your money. They should be able to avoid, for every day you out of shape, you're losing the game check. Now, will the players ever agree to that? No. But for bruh, I'm just being honest. Like, if you show up out of shape, the whole function of your job is being in shape. If I show up to work without a tongue tomorrow, I can't talk to people and shit. Like, I'm sorry. I'm getting upset. I try to, but yo, I'm serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being like, that's really what irritates me. Like, the whole function of your job is being in shape. It's predicated on you being in shape. You're one of the best athletes in the world. You come in and you come fat because you don't want to be there and you're trying to sabotage. Then we gotta find a way to make you pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, one way or another. And maybe the way around this is you go, okay, well, if you sign this 4-year deal, we can't trade you. The team can't trade you, and you can't ask for a trade within a year of that contract. You got to wait a year before you can ask nothing. And I got to wait a year before I can move you. Maybe we do that. Maybe we put a statute of limitation on it, on trade requests. And not only trade requests, but it has to work both ways. So it's fair, right? So the team can't trade you. You have a no trade clause for a year, and you can't ask for a trade. That's the give. That's the take. So if you sign this long-term deal, just know we're married. We're stuck for a year. Maybe we do that, you know? But I don't know. I'm throwing things out there. I think those are fair thoughts, though. I think that what I'm saying is going to come up at those tables and in those discussions with the billionaires and with the players, with CJ McCollum and Kyrie Irving. Ironically, is on the
Players Association board.
Players Association board, right? He's a VP, is right. So that is so ironic. So he'll be sitting there. They're gonna be like, "Yo, you are the problem. Like, I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you've done." Okay, let's talk about, because you were, my friend, the real thorn in our side. All right, I hope people understand when that guy isn't as talented anymore. His game declines. He about to get the illest boot out the league. It's gonna be ugly. I just want people to understand that, because I don't think the players may love him, but the owners and some coaches, they won't say it. They don't rock with dude. That's a real thing. So I just want people to understand that. But I think, I don't know. Am I bugging? Like, is that fair? What do you guys think?
I don't think you're bugging. I think there has to be some type of level, because I can see on some aspect, because we're like pro player, of course. So when it's a situation, for example, before this year, right, where the Kings just were sucking year after year after year after year after year. If De'Aaron Fox was like, I demand a trade, I'm in 100% support. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to play something in position where it's like the player just can't do whatever they want because they want to go play with their friend. But at the same time, owners, teams, y'all got to be putting the best product out there. I'm surprised SGA hasn't got to the point of like, I want to force a trade. I'm surprised Damian Lillard hasn't got to the point that, hey, I want to force a trade. In those situations, I'm 100% on board because the team isn't putting the best product out there. And the star players' careers being wasted. And then at the end of it, for example, if SGA stays in OKC for his whole career, we'll be like, oh, that's dope. He played his whole career with OKC. He'll never be in a conversation with the greats. They're not winning OKC.
Right.
Damian Lillard, as great as he is, respectfully, based off of how we view greatness, one of the things is rings. To be honest, Dame's not getting a ring in Portland.
It's funny because I was just talking to my brother about whether or not Damian Lillard's a superstar. I think part of the reason why I can even have that argument and say he may not be is because of the fact that he's there. Now, he is a superstar level talent and player, but I think he's in the fringes. He's in the fringes of being a superstar because you look at his career, he's had some ugly playoff losses. He had that loss where Drew Holiday thoroughly outplayed him when they went against the Pelicans. I remember that loss vividly. I think he made it to the Western Conference Finals maybe one time. Was it once, I believe, in his career? And that's not all his fault. It's a team sport, but you know, like when I think about superstars, I think about guys who carry teams and can lift them up to new heights, right? For a while, Kevin Durant's superstar status was up in the air for me for a long time. I mean, I don't think he was a superstar the year they lost to the Warriors in that 3-1 series. Up until that point, I didn't think he was a superstar. And him going to Golden State didn't really solidify it for me. And his time in Brooklyn didn't solidify it for me either because there were times where it was like, I'm kind of talking myself out of his superstar status now. I don't know, man. What's superstar? Because Miles, he got swept with Kyrie right next to him. 4-0, no fight. They went out like ass up. They went out bad. They went out bad.
I agree. If we look at LeBron's
resume?
If we look at LeBron's career, can we look at any time he was just swept?
I mean, the finals against the Warriors, but that was him against the worlds.
That was the Avengers on the other side of the court.
To your point, they were that year. That was when Kyrie was out.
K-Love was out.
The year that he got swept, he had KD. KD and Kyrie was on the same court with each other. I can't comprehend. You don't get one game.
No, Kyrie had been traded actually, right? And he dragged that team with like Jeff Green as the second best player.
Yeah.
Right. So he had already proven GOAT status, just getting in there. That was some GOAT. That's the iconic moment in his career. What is KD's iconic moment in his career? What is it? I'm waiting. Does he have one? Does he have a moment like LeBron, like the 25 straight against the Pistons, or getting his team to the finals in 2007, year 4, right? Or the LeBronto series where he shot 80% on jump shots and swept. I think, was it a sweep in that series? Or was it a sweep? Or did they maybe
I think gentleman sweep?
Gentleman sweep, 4-1? There was that where he shot like 80% all turnaround fades, like killing them. What's KD's signature moment? What's his iconic moment? Does he have one?
The three in Bron's face to shut him out in Cleveland.
If you think about it, that probably is, because every time now when you see highlight reels where they talk about KD, they show that play often. But outside of that, it's just like nothing that really stands out. He has 50-point games and 40-point games, but there's nothing that really stands out as like when you think of KD. Yo, you remember that game? It's like
the three in LeBron's face is cool. Okay, if that's your best moment, can I really give you like that like superstar stat? Like, what does superstar mean? I think they're just a guy who can lift you out the mud. Like, I don't care who's around him. You got him, you got a chance to be in the championship. Like, you got him, you got a chance. KD gives you a chance to be in the championship. I guess he does, but there wasn't any evidence of that in Brooklyn. I didn't see that. I'm just being honest.
Well,
but seriously though, he was with Kyrie last year and we got swept. We didn't win a game.
Yeah, because in Brooklyn, it was just a joke. This is like a Key and Peele skit, like a bad
No
Key and
way.
Peele skit.
No way.
Yeah.
Don't do the blame. Don't blame the organization to bail him out, because I think this is a part of this is on. We were going to talk about this. We were going to talk about how people bail KD out, right? How he does. There's no pressure on dude, right? I think Stephen A. had the list, and he named the 5 guys in the NBA who had the most pressure to win a championship, and there was CP3 was on there before Kevin Durant was on there, which is a joke.
CP3 was number 1 on his list.
Crazy. So
because he doesn't have a ring though. That's the thing.
Okay, but
He's been around the world and he hasn't gotten the ring yet.
Okay, but KD has 2 drive-through rings though. He went to McDonald's and picked them junks up. So what are we talking about? Like, is it? There's pressure on dude too. He got swept with Kyrie on the court. It was not. This is not a Nets problem. This was not an organizational issue. We had you and Kyrie. You guys want to play together. They gave him everything they wanted. And for whatever reason, we didn't win anything. Well, I know why. It's Kyrie's fault. But on some level, it's Kevin Durant's fault too. And somehow he has no pressure on him to win it all. And he goes play with Devin Booker. He's on a world tour. He's a thought. He's getting passed around like a thought, going from star to star. Kyrie finished with him, and now he's going to Devin Booker. He's a whole thought. This dude's Bernice Burgos. He's the Bernice Burgos of the NBA.
Don't talk about Jaylen Brown, wife like that.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that joke is a step great father.
Come on, bro. You don't even believe in getting vaccinated. You better be someone's father.
That's wild. I think too, when you talk about that conversation of who has the most pressure on them, I don't recall if he mentioned his name, but I think a name that needs to be up there is Nikola Jokic. I think when you talk about who has the most pressure, you have to look at the team. You got to look at who's the best player on the team. You got to look at where the team is at.
Yes.
Denver is the number 1 seed. And by all accounts in Vegas, all the talking heads, the commentators, the sports analysts, the people that get paid and are supposedly way smarter than us are picking Nikola for a 3rd MVP. If this man get 3 straight MVPs, you can't tell me the pressure for him to actually win isn't on Nikola.
Yeah.
Nikola ain't sniffed a finals yet.
No.
And if he get 3 straight MVPs, 3 straight, come on, bro.
I don't view Nikola as a superstar player though. I know that's how people will lash out, but I don't see him. I've never seen him that way. I've always thought that as great offensively as he is and as great of a passer he is, I think he's a brilliant player. He's amazing. I just feel like he has clear holes in his game. Like his lack of athletic ability in the post and playing against guys like when Anthony Davis sees him, he tears him up. I mean, it's bad. It's usually pretty bad. So I don't really see superstar when I watch that guy, and my expectations of him are not that high. Does that make sense? Like even if he wins 3 MVPs, I don't expect him to drag that team to a finals. I just don't see in the NBA, the modern NBA, it's a guard league. You're a center. You rely on people to get you the ball. You can play point center, sure, but like you can't create offense down the stretch of a game. Like I know he's done it in the regular season and he's done it in some playoff games, but when it really comes down to it, there are guys who are better than you, right? They may not play as well as you do. Anthony Davis just doesn't play the games, right? He just isn't available. But when Anthony Davis is on, I'll take him any day over Jokic. I'm sorry, I just will. I don't care what the advanced numbers. I don't care what Vorp says, what the dorks will say to me. I will take Anthony because I know I've seen what Anthony Davis done to that guy. I've seen it. I just watched it, so I don't know. But to my KD point, this is why you can't put him in the conversation with Kobe, Bron, all that. You know, because you don't hold him to the same standard. Clearly, we're gonna make mistakes. LeBron played for Cleveland of all for crying out loud. It's Cleveland. They ain't terrible organization, right? So if you don't call them that's a terrible organization. Bron didn't get that excuse. So why should KD if they were ever even in the same conversation to begin with, which they weren't, by the way, but people do that. So that's all I'm gonna say about Kevin Durant. I don't know, man. I know now Miles about to take that stance about it's the Nets and we're a clown show. We were a clown show because of Kyrie. The clown show left. He has the red nose. It ain't Sean Marks. It ain't Joe Tsai. So that guy's gone.
Wasn't Brooklyn named the dirtiest city in America?
Nah.
You're a damn lie. Yo, he knows the list said.
It didn't. Miles is a troll. Looking
Right.
at the second half of the season, we got basketball back, right? LeBron already said these next 24 games they got are the most important games of his regular season career. How do we see this second half going in the East and in the West? You can start it off, Miles. The ball's in your court. It's an MSG right now.
Well, I think the Nets fade a little bit down to like maybe the 6-7 range into that play-in. And I think
Oh, you guys are taking our spot. You guys are going to keep surging. The Knicks are going to find consistency now when they haven't been consistent all year long. They're going to find consistency, right? That's what's going to happen, right? You guys on a ride. You mind, by the way, Jalen Brunson's playing at like a ridiculous pace right now. He can't keep that up all the rest of it. He cannot. Like, it's some point it's gonna fall. And you know Julius Randle is
it's not like he's taking threes and hitting crazy shots. His post game is crazy. It's like it's 15 and in for him. It's not like he's doing
those are tough shots. He's 6 foot tall, bro.
Yeah, and he's been doing it all season. And he showed that he could do it in the playoffs too last year. So
I'm a Jalen Brunson believer. I'm just saying he's playing at an unreal clip, and he would have to continue that for you guys to take our spot. You know, I'm just saying.
Well, you guys aren't fine in the East, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Beat Miami, had a damn good win against Miami. I don't know why you think you gotta take our spot. You chilling where you at? Hey, does the 5 seed and the 6 seed play each other in the playoffs? Is that how that works, or is it 4-5?
4-5? It's 4-5.
4-5. I wish it worked out that way, but it probably won't.
Hopefully, you guys can get that 5 seed so we could play y'all in the first round. That would be cool.
Okay, you guys getting the 4?
Yeah, we're getting the 4.
Wow. Oh, he's on Miles on special kind of drugs today.
Y'all four behind the 4 seed.
They're 4 behind?
Yeah.
We make up ground. We made good trades. We got Mitchell Robinson coming back, which that was the biggest weakness of the team this past month and a half, is we were playing Jericho Sims with the worst dunks in the NBA I've seen, and Hartenstein. Like, that doesn't give me confidence. And we were still winning games. So Mitch comes back, defense is solidified. Josh Hart's going to play a lot more minutes, and he's a winner. He does what you need him to do. He grabs rebounds, he gets steals, he passes it when he has to. So I'm looking forward to the second half because people are going to see the Knicks are, they're making headway.
4 seed?
Yeah, 4 seed.
Who's in the 4 seed? Like the 6
Cleveland, the Cavs.
Okay, the Cavs taking a step back too. That's you also
take a step back.
Wow. I'm not going that far. I think East is gonna have minimal movement. I really believe that. I think things are gonna stay kind of where they're at. You saw the Sixers win tonight against the Grizzlies. I think the West is where things are gonna shuffle because it's very tight. I think the Lakers are about to go on a run. I think the Lakers are about to go on a little bit of a run. I think they're gonna make a push. And at worst, finish in 7 plays. At best, finish in 6. That's why I see it. I like that team a lot. I like the makeup of the team.
The West, all the teams are way, way more closer. You're talking about from 2nd seed to 3rd seed is only 3.5 difference. 3rd to 4th is only a game and a half difference. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are all within 3-4 games of each other.
All right.
Going all the way down to Portland, not saying they're going to run, but Portland, if they go on a run, they could be a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Utah, they're only 2 games back of the 6 seed. Yeah. And I'm sorry, the 6 seed right now is Dallas. And the 2 games before All-Star break that Kyrie and Luka played with each other, they gave up like 125 points each game.
And Jason Kidd said we're trying to outscore teams. Defense is not where our priorities lie. Basically, he's an idiot. And it's weird because he was a defensive player. I don't understand that take, but I think it's because he knows he has 2 guys in the backcourt who don't play like a defense. So that's where it comes from. And they don't have rim protection either. And they lost their best defender, though he's gone. He's on the Nets. So that he's kind of accepted their fate. That they're not going to play any defense. But yeah, I think the West will have a lot of shuffling. I think the Utah Jazz are a wild card because in that being 2 games back of the 6 seed, their goal is to not win, right? They traded away good players at the deadline, and it's because they want to be in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. They have like 25 first-round picks over the next 2 years or something ridiculous like that. So you know what they're trying to do. And so I think because they're going to take that step back, a team like the Lakers, a team like the Blazers, I think it's more likely to be the Lakers in my opinion. Because their method of winning is more sustainable. The Blazers, I think I saw Damian Lillard was averaging 38 points a game over his last 12 for them to be like breaking 500. So It's just not sustainable. It's the same reason why. It's the same thing I said about the Knicks. Jalen Brunson's playing out of his mind. Like he would have to just continue to tear teams apart, which I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he does. But that's tough to ask out of one person. I'm rooting for Jalen Brunson is a separate entity than the Knicks for me. I've been rooting for Jalen Brunson for the longest time. I love that guy's game. I'm rooting for him, period. I don't care who he plays for your team. It's about him. So, but no, I just think that when you rely on one player that much, it's tough. It's tough.
I think the Pelicans drop out too because Zion.
Yeah, he's not coming
He
back.
might be done for the season. So Zion, I can't see the Pelicans staying at number 8. I can't see, even though SGA been doing his thing and they've been balling, I can't see OKC. I can see OKC dropping. I can see the Pelicans dropping. I see Dallas dropping. Dallas will probably be in a play-in team.
Dallas is gonna fall. Yeah, isn't that crazy? They're gonna fall. They're totally gonna fall.
I think the 6th seed is up for grabs, whether it's the Lakers or not. The 6th seed is up for grabs because Dallas, I don't trust what's going on in Minnesota. Anthony Edwards is their best player, but they ain't figure out how to play Rudy together with Cat. Cat's still out. Golden State, they still waiting for Steph to come back. We see it right now on TV. They struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's up for grabs, honestly speaking.
It's real. I feel the same way. I feel the
At
same.
this halfway point, if we had to give out some awards, who's your MVP?
I guess Jokic. It's a fun pick. It's the boring pick, but that's the pick that makes I think it makes a lot of sense being the number 1 seed. Yeah, I think Jokic is probably the MVP. I would say. 6th man of the year. I don't know. That's a little tougher. 6th man of the year, right? I'm thinking about viable candidates.
Your boy Russ.
Is Russ? I had Russ in my mind. I did have Russ. I'm serious. I did think about Russ.
Well, that's done up because they say he's gonna start with the Clippers.
I'm saying that's why I'm like, is he actually gonna? I mean, at this point, maybe you could say he could probably say he's the 6th man of the year. I guess, but that's about to change. His case is about to be gone. So I'm just thinking about other options, and I'm getting stumped here.
I'm gonna give it to IQ.
Okay, you might have a case there. He's played well lately. He didn't start well though.
Yeah, but we're talking about the last 2 months.
Oh, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the whole first half.
Yeah, I don't care about Russ and his horrible shooting percentages, and
that's fair. IQ has a case.
According to Vegas, they said the favorite right now is Malcolm Brogdon.
In my mind, I was thinking about Malcolm Brogdon, but I was like, does he start or does he not start? In my head, I'm like, does he start or that's Derek White? Because they got 2 weird looking light skinned dudes on that team, and there's both of them, so they're interchangeable. But yeah, he has a case too, and Malcolm Brogdon probably will win because the team has so much success. But IQ is a nice dark horse pick. I'm not upset about that at all. He's embraced that role off the bench. He's done a good job. One of the reasons why they're actually winning some games.
Tyrese Maxey kind of embraced that 6-man role too.
He has, but I know he missed some time too, so I guess it's a little more difficult to just kind of peg him as the guy. That's what I'm thinking, and I also know he didn't embrace it right away. He wasn't very happy about losing that starting spot. But yeah,
I did call. I saw how Melton was playing in that starting lineup, and I knew they wasn't going back to Tyrese. Once he got injured and Melton was playing well with Harden, and Harden was able to play better, because Tyrese needed the ball too. So Tyrese and Harden starting, it was messy from jump.
And beyond that too, it was like, Fat Man don't play D. So you got to have someone besides him who plays defense, and it made sense to have a guy like Melton, right? It actually makes a lot of sense. He complements him much better. Catch and shoot guy,
He compliments Harden way.
That's a lot of it. It's not about talent all the time.
He compliments him better, and respectfully, Tyrese doesn't do a lot of the cutting off the ball, and Melton's just gonna get in where he getting.
Yep, he's gonna go get a rebound. He's gonna go crash the glass. He's gonna drop down over loose balls. He's gonna knock down a corner 3, knock down threes at a nice clip. He is a valuable player to have in today's NBA. He is so valuable to have in any period of time in the league. He's a valuable player to have. So
yeah, I think Memphis definitely missing DeAndre Melton on that squad. On the flip side, we got the pro days are coming up and the workouts and the combine. Looking at it, right? Who do you think is the actual best prospect? Of course, it's a quarterback heavy draft, but who is the best actual prospect in the draft that's going to be like, game changer.
I mean, I think Will Anderson from Alabama, the DMs, he was showing his measurables and his stats and comparing it to Von Miller, and you could see the similarities between the two. Like he's real athletic. He's got the bend you want from a pass rusher. And I think playing for Alabama, that's an SEC team. Like that's basically like a minor league football team right there. So he's ready. He's ready to come in and get you 10 sacks right now. So I think he's the most ready prospect as we're sitting here.
Yep. I mean, I'm gonna go. I mean, yes, Will Anderson is a great choice. I'm gonna go with some guys that are under the radar. The guy bought from Boston College, Zay Flowers, just from what I've seen. Like, I think he's gonna be a combine hero, and he's gonna raise his draft stock like crazy, go mid first round, maybe earlier than people expect. I think the Jackson Smith Enigma kid, who they're all saying runs like he's in quicksand. He's talented. The tape says another story. So I think it's one of those things that people overthink it, and they're going to miss out on a great player. He's going to fall like on some Justin Jefferson type stuff. He's just going to fall, and he's going to fall to a team that he shouldn't fall to. Hopefully it's the Giants. But I think that makes a lot of sense. So and then Bijan Robinson, what I've seen from him from Texas, I mean, he's going to tear. He would, if he does the combine, which he may not have to do, he would tear it up too. All offensive players, by the way. I'm not going to act like I care about defense. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be disingenuous here on this podcast. But
for Jackson Smith and Nigel, right? So Steve Smith broke his tape down, said has a PhD in route running.
Yeah.
But he said he's a slot receiver. Do any of y'all think that he can actually be a number one?
Yes, I do. I think it's so funny that he's saying that too, because Devontae Adams isn't a burner. He's not a burner, but he has a PhD in route running. And he's a number one, unequivocally a number one. So why can't Enigma be the same thing with the body control he has, with his hands, with his ability to win, right? Win routes early, right? Create separation. I don't see any reason why he can't be a number one for an offense. I think he's gonna fall because his 40 time, if he even runs it at all, right? He may not run it at all, but if he runs a 40, won't be great. It'll be 4, 5, 6. It'll be whatever it is, 4, 5, right? But bruh, when you get on the field, he is a terror to deal with. He's hard to, so I think he can be a number one. And my comp for him is like a Devontae Adams. That's what I think. I think he's kind of like, if best case scenario, that's what he will be in the NFL. Worst case scenario, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, Calvin Ridley type deal. Calvin Ridley's a route running extraordinary. He's fast, but not a burner per se. Is he fast like that, Miles?
Saying he's going to be like really good regardless.
Yes. Yeah, he's an Ohio State guy. You know what that's like. What about your man's? Garrett Wilson. Yeah, you know what that's like. Olave.
Yeah. You mentioned like best case scenario. What's best case scenario for Anthony Richardson?
Let me also just say this before we move on. Garrett Wilson said that your boy, that Enigma is going to be better than him. He's the best one.
Yeah, we saw the clip. We saw the clip in college, but we don't know for a fact. Like Garrett Wilson, he was saying that to be nice. The interview was,
he doubled down, bro. He doubled down.
They're already leaving. They know they're certified route runners already. Him and Olave. They got 1,000 yards each. Like
he doubled down on it at the Super Bowl. He was like doing an interview and he said it again. So with what you're talking about, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
That's my point. He really believes that. That's all I'm saying. I know you don't want it to be true because he's probably going to be a Giant.
That's his brother, man. That's his brother. You're supposed to punk him.
Whatever. He's going to be a Giant and he'll probably be better. So we'll see.
Man, I hope he doesn't go there.
Sure.
What's best case for Anthony Richardson? I've heard everything from Josh Allen comparisons to he's not that good that you think. I've heard Josh Allen. I've heard he could be Jameis Winston. Like, it's been mixed reviews on him.
Jameis Winston? Damn.
Somewhere somebody said he's a mix between Cam Newton and Justin Fields.
It's been literally like it's been.
I was like, if you're putting him like that, then take him number one. Why would you pass on that?
Number one.
But I think he's a top 10 quarterback at this point. The way he's getting hyped up, and I mean the tools are there. Like, it was never a question on the tools. Like, you could see the arm is a cannon. the speed is off the charts. Like you saw what Justin Fields did. Now imagine if you get a guy you can mold and turn into a passer like Josh Allen. So I mean, I hope he goes to an NFC team so he could torment y'all, you know, Cowboys and Giants and all that. Or Lions, my bad. Lions too. Um, but yeah, I think he's a top 10 quarterback in this draft. I think we'll see
That's a
three.
that's a but that's a vague statement. I mean, there's a top 10 quarterback. To the 10th quarterback in this draft might go in the 7th round. Whatever it is,
Well,
6.
the Panthers need a quarterback, and they got.
I heard the Lions might draft him.
That'd be a waste.
Why not? Whoa. No. That'd be good. That'd be good because he would be able to sit behind Jared Goff. I think that'd be good. He goes to a place where he can sit and he don't have to rush him out there.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to waste his talent on the 8 Mile. That's the last thing I want to do.
If he plays too early, it's not going to work out. And if he goes to the wrong team, it's not going to work out. He needs an offensive coordinator, an offensive mind like a Brian Daboll. He needs that because Brian Daboll will maximize his running ability, and that'll give him time while we're using him in QB draw plays and all that stuff and fancy run plays for quarterbacks. That'll give him time to develop the throwing aspect of it. He needs a guy like that.
See, that's why you guys should tag Daniel Jones, draft Anthony Richardson, and boom, the offseason's complete.
First of all, if the Giants, all right, but no, seriously, because I heard that there's rumors the Giants looking at Hendon Hooker. They're talking to him. They've been talking to him heavy. If they drafted Hendon Hooker, my game plan for Daniel Jones doesn't change. I'm still giving him the bag. I'm still giving him money. He'll have trade value if we decide to move off of him in the middle of that contract, and you want to promote Hendon Hooker and give him the quarterback job, QB1 job. I'm fine with that. If you want to draft the quarterback, do it. But pay Daniel Jones because he's your answer in the now. And he may be your answer, period, moving forward. But your game plan with Daniel Jones stays the same. It stays the same.
I mean, if you take Hendon Hooker's the rookie and the vet because he's almost 30 at this point. So,
speaking of, what's the biggest need you think for the Giants in the draft coming up? And then, Miles, what's the biggest need for the Jets in the draft coming up?
Inside O-line and linebacker are 2 big needs for the Giants, and wide receiver, obviously. Inside O-line, linebacker, and wide receiver, probably in that order, which is unpopular with Giants fans, but it's true. Linebackers suck. I mean, Jalen Smith and them dudes that was a bad situation. So they need help there. They need to be able to stop the run. So I think those, and then cornerback too. But I would put cornerback after wide receiver. So I think in that order, inside O-line, linebackers, wide receiver, and then cornerback.
So off those needs, right? We already talked about the wide receiver. By any chance, are there any names that you looking at where you're like, yo, this O-line player, inside O-line would work with our scheme. This linebacker would be, no, you don't pay attention to defense, but this linebacker, yo, I watched some of the tape. He would be perfect with the Giants and what they do on defense.
And there's some names flying around out there. I wouldn't be honest with anybody listening to this podcast if I said I knew him exactly off the top of my head. A cornerback I've been paying attention to recently was a kid from Utah. I don't remember his name exactly off the top of my head. I'm blanking on it. But there's a cornerback from Oregon too, Gonzalez, who's gonna go with round 1. He might be interesting for the Giants to take a look at as well. Keely Ringo from Georgia, right? Could be interesting. Although I did see him get torn up against Ohio State, but that's also, that's them dudes, right? And he got torn up by the B team because Nigba wasn't even there. But still, right? I think he could be a good cornerback in the NFL too. Inside O-line, there's a guy from Florida. I don't know exactly what his name is either. It's like Osiris or something weird like that. I'll do my homework on the draft and be better with this soon. But those are guys that you can think of too. And then with the linebacker position, that's a work in progress too. I think there's a couple guys that stand out for sure that I've been seeing flying around just their film, but I haven't done my deep dive and analysis on it yet. So
this was just if you had it off the top of your head. Obviously, when we get close to the draft, we're gonna have a show that we really dive deeper into this player and that player and how we looking at projecting the first round, all that good stuff. The dude you was talking about, I think, is Clark Phillips, the third over in
Clark
Houston.
Phillips third. That's right. He has some real good film. He could be a nice fit for the Giants. Play man defense. How about Wink? Allow them to be more, just be better against the run because they don't have to devote as much there and be better against the pass. So I like him a lot.
Miles, what about for the Jets? I heard O-line is a big, big, big desire to get in the draft, but what's your thoughts on what y'all really need the most?
We need a center, we need a right tackle, linebackers a need too, and then safety. Right, that's not in order. Maybe offensive line first. I mean, CJ at some point we're gonna have to move off of him. Makes a lot of money, and he's still really good, but it's time to prepare for his departure at some point. And then the safeties, that was the biggest weakness of the secondary. Like we could have had two all-pro cornerbacks, but if you get past them, those safeties don't help you. So I'm looking at, I think his name is Brian Banks or something like that from Alabama, the safety. Paris Johnson from Ohio State, the tackle, and then Skaronski from Northwestern. Like those are the three guys I'm looking at, even though all three of them are going to be first round picks, probably. I mean, depending on how fast the safety runs. But with that 13th pick, if we keep it, which there's no reason we should be trading it in the first place, it's got to be one of those two tackles. Because, I mean, if we're bringing in a quarterback, we're not going to have money to spend on a tackle or a center. We're going to have to build through the draft and try to make it work that way. So whether that's blocking for Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, we got to figure that out.
By the way, the guy name you was talking about from last name is Branch. Speaking of, you just mentioned A-Rod, you just mentioned Derek Carr. Greg mentioned in the chat, the best thing that y'all should do is go for Derek Carr and don't even worry about Aaron Rodgers coming out from his hole and now we find out Groundhog Day if it's going to be sun or not. Who do you think is the best option for y'all?
I mean, the best option is Aaron Rodgers, honestly. But the safe option, if you're not worried about like the image and the media stuff and, a really good dude, you go with Derek Carr. Like that's the safest bet. Like you're still going to have to pay him $35, $38 million a year, but you're getting a guy who's 31 and maybe a change of scenery reinvigorates him and he can play at a different level. I mean, he'll still be the third best quarterback in the division, which is why I'd go for Aaron Rodgers at this point. Like we're too deep into this. Like if Aaron Rodgers is available, you're getting a top 5, maybe top 3 talent in the league when he's motivated and not talking to, who on Monday mornings on Barstool. Like that guy is so talented. So I think if he comes to New York and with the weapons that we have here, he doesn't have to worry about throwing to rookies and guys running the wrong route. He's not Devontae Adams, but he's a star in the making in Garrett Wilson. You got Elijah Moore, who I'm sure he'll be a lot more excited to run routes next year if we got a quarterback who can actually throw him the ball. And then we got Brees coming back. So if I had to pick, the safest thing for my heart would be Derek Carr. But, I mean, we haven't won in 50 years. Why are we playing it safe? We got to go all in for Aaron Rodgers and try to go at a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know if it was true or not with them saying, like, if Derek Carr brings a championship to New York, he'll be a Hall of Fame first ballot, which I'm sure if that happened, that would be the case. But what are the odds of that happening with Derek Carr?
It's possible with that team. You're not asking him to be great. You're not asking him to be a superstar. You're not asking him to win you games. And he can do enough. He can do enough. You don't need the all-time great talent. You just need someone who can drive the ship, and he's certainly more than a game manager. He's a notch above that. He's really not bad. He's not bad. So I'm on team Derek Carr with this one. If I was a fan of the Jets, because I'm sorry, I don't got the patience for the Aaron Rodgers experience. I don't have it. Like the darkness retreat, him sitting in darkness, him playing this game where he's trying to add suspense to this easy decision. Yo, where are you gonna go collect your $60 million next year, man? You're not retiring. Where you about to go collect that 60 M's? Because you're not stupid. You're not about to go retire. You ain't about to go live on a farm and he's crazy, but he's like a different crazy than Kyrie. But they're very similar. You saw how it works for Kyrie here, right? It's gonna be very similar for my man Aaron Rodgers. It's not gonna be much different, man. I'm serious. We're talking about a guy who lied about his vaccination status. Okay, we're talking about a flat earther. Okay, we're talking about a JFK still alive type dude. Okay, we're talking about a conspiracy type dude. We talking, you know what I mean?
You said JFK still alive.
Yeah, we're talking about that. So I would be very, very careful about signing Aaron Rodgers. In this media market, if you think that that's not going to affect his play, you are dead wrong. It affects you. It affects you playing in New York. It's not for everybody. He is not the personality to deal with this. When you up in Wisconsin, where everyone only cares about cheese and the Packers, you can do whatever the hell you want because it's sacrilegious to talk bad about a Packer and especially your quarterback. Okay, but like Brett Favre is stealing money from poor black kids drinking lead out in Mississippi, and they don't even talk about it. They don't even talk about it.
Yo, he got the nerve to be suing people.
Right. Like he's self-righteous on top of it. You know what I mean? So you can do no wrong, right? When you're a Packer great, but it's different in New York. And we both know that it's not a good move. It's not a good place to put your money. It won't pan out. He could be asking for a trade in a year or so. He is Kyrie. He is Kyrie, but white. That's who he is, And
hold up. If you were in free agency and you had to pick between KD and Carmelo Anthony, you're gonna go KD.
It's not always about talent. I'll give you an example, a real life example. There's a kid who tried out for my AAU basketball team last week. He hits us up after he made my team. Rosters came out. 6'7" kid, talented, finished with both hands, can shoot, all that. Right? Hits us up. He's like, yeah, I mean, am I guaranteed to start? I need to be guaranteed to start to come play for you. What else did he say? He said, oh yeah, is Greg's team like a glorified C team because the 317U team that's also is it, just real entitled coming left. I want him gone. I told the director of the program I want him gone. I want to coach that kid. Period. You know what I mean? Like that's what I said. And I look up his stats. Dude averaging like 1 point a game. Nutley. Bunch of DNPs. Now, is that Aaron Rodgers? No. Point is, it's not about talent. It's about building a team. And I would rather have the guy who doesn't give me a headache. So if Carmelo Anthony would give you a little headache back in the day. So I'm not the greatest example. But if it's Carmelo Anthony talent level with no headache, I'm taking that over, transcendent talent level, but gives me the headache. I learned my lesson. I got burned by Kyrie Irving. I'm not doing that. Give me Mikal Bridges. Give me good vibes. Give me good vibes, and the guy will go come to work and play hard every day. I want that. And the Jets don't need that. You have a great infrastructure in place. You have a real good, damn near great team, supporting cast around the guy. Give him Derek Carr, man. You guys are gonna ride out to. You guys going to the what's it called? The conference championship at the least with that guy. I'm telling you.
I think the thing too that you got to be careful as the Jets organization, if y'all don't have the slightest inclination that y'all definitely can get Aaron Rodgers, I would be careful because you don't want to wait around for Aaron Rodgers and let's say Derek Carr gets impatient and signs elsewhere. That's the only thing I think is you gotta be careful with because Aaron Rodgers is such a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea. That's the thing where it's like for the Jets organization, Jets fans, I would rather I just go with Derek Carr. Derek Carr actually wants to be there. You already know that. Aaron Rodgers, you're hoping like you sign a piece that be like, all right, he knows A-Rod. He'll probably come over here to the Jets. We don't know. This Jokic was in the dark for 3 weeks. We don't know what he came out feeling like. You know what? I'm gonna stay in Green Bay. I don't want for the Jets with that roster. I don't want them to lose out on getting Derek Carr and then you end up with Baker Mayfield. Like,
Garoppolo would be the way. You know what I mean? Baker Mayfield, Garoppolo.
Because after is A-Rod, Derek Carr.
It gets bad. It gets real
And
bad.
Lamar. I mean, Lamar is still the dark horse here to be had.
This nigga blow my shit.
Is he not? Are they
What
not
are you
miles
talking about?
apart?
Yeah, but you're not getting Lamar. How?
What do you mean how? We got the picks.
So you're gonna wait? You don't wait till this guy, because it's a standoff, and they're gonna tag him.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. And you could possibly end up with nothing if they don't move him.
That's what I'm saying. That's such a wild card to take.
Wow. Man.
Hey, Miles, I get it. Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson obviously are head and shoulders above Derek Carr. I'm just saying, like, for you as a Jets fan, y'all have one of the best rosters y'all had in a while, bro. And I'm a believer in that Jets roster. Y'all just missing a quarterback, man. That's all y'all missing.
Bring a God-fearing man like Derek Carr in New York City who's not going to say the wrong thing, man. He's going to be praying for dudes. He's going to be healing dudes in the sideline, divine intervention. That's a good dude, man. You saw how he wrapped his arm around Henry Ruggs. Even though he deserved to be put up in a jail cell like he is, he wrapped his arms around dude, man.
He probably wrapped his arm around dude in Alabama.
Brandon Miller. He needs intervention. You gotta take him to go see Pastor West with Chris. He needs that. Someone got to set him on the right path.
We speaking all about New York and the market in New York. We're gonna close out the show with these. Because y'all have requested that we talk more about baseball, and some people actually, even asked about hockey. So y'all got it this episode. We're gonna close off the show. Baseball talk, some hockey talk. On the baseball front, the Mets spent bags this offseason in that market. Are the Mets in general, the team with the most pressure to win a chip this upcoming season?
That's a good question. They got pressure on them to win a chip.
I think it's between them and the Padres, honestly. I mean, you look at the Padres, that lineup, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, it's different.
I'm glad you brought them up. They're about to lose Manny Machado. He's going to be a Met. The Mets swung and missed on Correa, but Machado's going to be a Met. Just remember I said it, save the clip, because when it happens, and I don't even know how you can shake your head about it. Who's going to pay him what he wants? He wants 400 M's. You know who's going to pay him? Cohen. The Yankees aren't paying him that. Are y'all paying him that?
Why would Cohen do that? He's not going to wait for Shohei?
You can get them both. What are we talking about? You can get them both. He's going to get them both. He's going to swing and get them both. I'm telling you, bro.
All right, then Pete, you're asked out then. You're not getting any money from Cohen. If you're paying him 400 M's, Shohei 500 M's, then you're already paying Lindor, what, 350?
There's a good chance. I think they will resign Pete. And maybe the Machado thing is a bit unrealistic because of that alone. But I know what they were targeting in the third baseman, and Correa was going to play third base. And, unfortunately, his body's made out of a Brillo pad, so it didn't work out. But I think it could work out in this case, It could work out in this case with Machado. But, either way, you get Ohtani or Machado. One of the two things are happening. And I do think they'll keep Pete. I think he's worth keeping around. He's a great player. And they have some pressure on him to win this year, but I think that not as much as the Padres do. Not as much. I don't think it's the same.
Not even close, because you guys have Verlander, you got Scherzer. You guys are built to win right now. It's just a question of if everything comes together.
And then the Mets didn't sell out to do it. Like he didn't spend that's chump change for him. He's going to really make a push for this thing in next summer. You know what I mean? But the Padres sold out. They're not historically a team that spends a lot of money, and they did that. So there's a lot more pressure on them to win. But I think the Mets are a better team than the Padres are, for whatever that's worth. And I think the Mets are a team that can certainly make a push to the World Series this year. I'm excited. I want to beat Atlanta. That's the goal. Beat Atlanta, and I think we're in a good place. I'm not and Philly, of course, too. Philly is obviously proven to be a very, very good team. But beating them both is the goal. We play in the best division in baseball. So we control our division. We win our division. There ain't nobody else we can't beat. Period. That's the way I see it. We play that's the cream of the crop. The NL East is the cream of the crop in baseball. Period. So you handle your business there. I feel good about beating anybody else, minus Houston. Houston is
throwing money around like it's King of Diamonds out here. That's how you guys are playing free agency.
For coming from a Yankees fan, I can't even take you seriously. Like, what are you complaining about? That's what you guys did my entire life. So what? Until you guys were broke, which is now.
We're not broke.
Y'all barely wanted to pay Aaron Judge. Y'all made it close. Steph Curry almost got him out of there. Steph Curry's like, yo, come to church with me, bro. I'm gonna show you a good time in San Francisco. Come to church with me.
Speaking of, on the AL front, who has the most pressure over there?
Is it always the Yankees?
It's always the Yankees because it's always championship or bust over here. So that's the point. It's like we brought Aaron Judge back. Cool. That was a given. I mean, there was no doubt he was coming back. But now that he's paid, now we got to see him produce in the postseason. Now we got to see us get over the hump against Houston, which is the biggest thing between us and the World Series right now.
They've had y'all number.
Yeah, because they know how to build a team. They're not building it off of just home runs. They got Altuve, who hits for average. You got Bregman, who hits for average. Alvarez, he hits for average. So they're bringing in good pieces. And then they brought in Jose Alvarez, who is a stud first baseman on a 1-year deal. I'm like, how are they going to keep getting away with this? So for us, yeah, we brought back Rizzo, we signed Rodon, and I think our rotation is the best in baseball at this point. Like 1 through 4, not many rotations are competing with what the Yankees got right now. So you're making that face. You making that face. Garrett Cole, Rodon, Nestor as the 3, who's an all-star, and then we got Severino, who could be an ace on any team.
An ace.
Yeah, an ace. He's got ace stuff.
There's a lot of guys who have ace stuff, and they're not aces, Miles. What does that mean?
All right, look what he looked like when he came back.
Oh my God! So he's better than
the Mets. I'm done talking about it.
You have a better rotation than the Mets.
About it. That's it.
You have a better rotation than the Mets, Miles.
Yeah,
Verlander, Cruiser, Quintana. Really? What's it? My man from Japan who just got here
talking about or Senga, Sango, something.
He has the ghost pitch. He has the ghost pitch that disappears on people, apparently.
Ghost pitch.
Come on, man. It's like when you guys got Tanaka, except he's better. Come on. I'm just saying, man. Come on now. What are we talking about? Don't do that. Talking about Severino. Ace stuff. Yeah, I know some kids in high school get ace stuff too. They ain't aces.
In high school. All right, here we go.
Yo, so MLB made some changes to try to make the game faster. Do you think some of the rule changes will actually make the sport more entertaining to watch and will actually help speed it up? Because last year, the average game was close to 3 hours.
I like they took the shift out. That was just
cool.
That's kind of made the game useless. Like
that makes the game longer.
Smart. It makes it harder, but
longer though, doesn't it?
Huh?
It makes the game longer, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, it makes the game longer. There's less action. Like
I'm saying, taking the shift out of the game makes the game longer because there's more hits going to get through. The innings will be extended.
Yeah, that's what I meant. There's more action now.
Yeah,
Like it's gonna help. It's gonna help out those hitters that hit 200 because all they can do is hit it to the right side or the left side. So we're gonna see more action in baseball this year. And then the pitch clock that was needed because you got guys looking in for the pitch for 20 seconds and then shaking it off the whole time, and then you step off and now you got a 5-minute at bat for no reason. So
yeah,
that's big.
That's fine.
I don't know why they made the bases bigger. It was kind of a weird decision, but
yeah, I don't get that.
I don't get it. What were some of the other rules?
I don't know the other.
I think you pretty much touched on everything.
Everything.
What I know that they were talking about was to try to have the game a little bit faster and possibly, like you said, more action where it's more scoring. And we've seen in every league, NFL, NBA, even soccer to an extent, the more scoring, the better viewership. The more offense, everybody's tuning in. And what we can definitely say, baseball doesn't have, compared to the other sports, is not as much offense. You'll get offensive games here and there. What you get more now in baseball is the shutouts. You get somebody had 12 strikeouts and the score is 3-1, which if you're not really just a baseball junkie, that might be boring to watch, man.
I mean, I like they kept the ghost runner for extra innings, because otherwise you could have guys not get on base for 6 innings, and now you're at the ballpark for 5-6 hours, which, yeah, that's where I get why people are mad at how long baseball takes. So that's the one thing that I applaud baseball for adding a couple years ago to make the game a little faster, is that runner on second with no outs. Because, I mean, if nobody's getting hits, what are we doing?
That's facts. I totally agree. I don't know that it reels in new viewership. You ain't reeling in these Gen Zers that weren't watching baseball to begin with. I'm sorry, that ship might have sailed. But yeah, I think it'll be faster and more entertaining. If you love baseball to begin with, you'll still love it. And if you're someone who's on the fence about it, you'll still be on the fence about it. I don't think it's going to make a difference in their viewership and where it goes. I don't see that. I think that people have kind of had their minds made up about baseball, and there's a stigma about it, and they're not totally wrong about their stigma, but I'm someone who happened to love it. So I grew up on that. So it's different for me. But I don't think it's going to change that stuff.
Now, to end off the show, one of the biggest storylines in hockey right now is where Patrick Kane is going to end up. If y'all had to predict, where will he end up? And what is the best team for Patrick Kane? Like, where would he best be suited?
The Rangers is the fun pick, but being guys from the area, of course we want that to happen. But I think the Rangers have the young assets to make the move, and they got they have a collection of talent on that team, and they've rebuilt it really nice, and they're in a good spot, right? And they go from Henrik Lundqvist to their current goaltender now, and who's also really talented too. So I think they're talented from top to bottom. They've got really good lines. Their power play is strong. Panarin, Kreider, all the dudes they have there, right? And it's a real talented group. So you add God Kane, you have a chance to win the whole thing. So the Rangers are a fun pick. Obviously there are other suitors, of course. I mean, I'm sure teams that have been good over the years, like a Tampa Bay Lightning team, or and obviously just going down the list of teams around the league. I mean, that are in contention. Every team would love to have a guy like Kane. So there'll be suitors, but I think the Rangers have a really good package to offer up. And if they get him, I mean, look out. Out of all the teams in New York, they have the best chance to bring a championship here. Out of all of them. And they get the least amount of pub because it's hockey. So, the way I see it.
How do you see if you had to predict right now, who do you have winning the Stanley Cup? Obviously, you had Colorado won last year. The Rangers did make the playoffs as a second seed. Who do you see right now, based off of where we're at in the season, as the favorites to win? For those that aren't up to, Boston right now has the most points when you look at the Eastern Conference. And then on the Western Conference side is Dallas, Winnipeg, Minnesota.
I mean, Boston's off to one of their best starts in years. So, I mean, the way they've been playing is just unreal. Like, every night, I feel like they're just going to win, which is why I want the Rangers to get Patrick Kane, because they need more firepower in the East to get through teams like Boston and teams like the Maple Leafs, because those are the top two teams in the East right now. So,
yeah, because in the West it's a little bit more closer between like Dallas, Winnipeg, Edmonton is way closer than Boston right now. Carolina's close, but outside of that, Carolina and the New Jersey Devils. Outside of that, Boston, like you said, is off to a hot start.
Yeah, I would say, those are obviously suspect. I think the Rangers are going to make a move here and be in it to compete here. They if I'm not mistaken, I think they lost in the conference finals, right, to Tampa Bay Lightning last year, right? Was that what it was? They were very close to winning last year. So you may get a guy like Kane, and we're assuming obviously, but they get in and have a chance. And against those Western Conference teams, I mean, Edmonton with McDavid being as great as he is, you can never rule them out, right? He's the best player in hockey, I would assume, right? As great as he is, former number one pick. So, does it make him a lot to get there? No, but it really does mirror the NBA. The Eastern Conference is where the top dogs are at. You probably have a championship winner there coming out of the East, but the West is more of it's the wild West. You have teams that are all over the place that are closely together, and you could have anyone get out of there, right? And there's much more parity in the Western Conference. So tough to predict, but I'll be watching a little more hockey these days, so I'll be able to talk to y'all a little more about that for sure.
We all gonna be tapped in a little bit more. Y'all asked for it. We're gonna have it on the show. More hockey, baseball. We're gonna have way more baseball this season. We've neglected baseball. Y'all have let us know it's been neglected. We've heard y'all. We got y'all. We're gonna talk more baseball and we're gonna talk more hockey for y'all. Basketball, all that, we already know that's coming. But we're gonna make sure that we don't neglect that. I don't know about WWE because that's not real. But everything else, we will actually include more. Shoot, we might even talk a little golf, talk about Tiger Woods, McIlroy, all of them. But you already know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob Ent, we out. Peace.